to different people, I'm not exactly sure like the level of seniority in the audience. If you have experience in, I can speak to you from this place because I came into this program with about 10 years of work experience. So I had a prior track record and like I guess what I would call a specialty or a concentration or something like that in the workforce. So if you're in that group, I would say my advice to you would be to once again, it kind of depends on what you want to do. If you want to pivot, then my advice to you is probably pretty similar, is kind of narrow down where you want to be at the end of the day. So finding, really focusing your search when it comes to job, narrow down the type of firm you want to be at and find, tailor your resume to that type of firm. If you're one of the hard parts for me was, how do I tailor my resume if I want to pivot? That's kind of difficult. So narrowing down your search to like a select group of firms would probably be my recommendation to you. And then also networking. So I'll tell you the way I came out of here. I actually was connected with somebody from Professor Zora. He connected me to somebody, and I know a lot of you have been through this. He'll spam LinkedIn contacts with, hey, this is X, Y, and Z. He did or she did this, and that. You guys should connect with each other. One of those paid off and happened to be a fintech platform in California, where I live, that needed somebody who had broker-dealer experience, which is like where I came from. So leverage those connections, and then also narrow down your firm search, tailor your resume, figure out what you want to do, that sort of thing. And then obviously do well in the program. That's the other recommendation. Like,
and then quickly
focus on your studies like that.
Let's not forget that too.
Yeah.
Although, the more I talk to students, I tell them that's the studies is probably 50% of your time, because the other 50%, I mean, you work on a great project, which at some point we should try to bring it back to life on interest rate parity and crypto. But most of the students that you've seen, a lot of them already started on projects before joining the program. So the project is almost becoming its own, its own curriculum, so that they learn stuff that they're not going to learn from the. So, but before I asked them to ask you questions. Can you tell us a little bit what do you do now? What's your
So I work at a place called SMBX, and we're a small and medium size business capital market. And it's really one of these kind of reinventing finance sort of companies is the idea out here in San Francisco. And the idea is really to issue these private securities to like small companies. So almost like a large company would IPO. Well, there are all these rules that provide for exemptions to security listings for smaller companies. So we're kind of walking through that window where we're using these regulatory exemptions to issue private securities. They brought me on, and my role there, I'm a principal at the firm, is to create a secondary market in these securities. So I'm building a business. Basically, I'm going through what's called a membership application process. I mean, really building something from the ground up, building all of the operations, and the going through the application, which is no small feat. You're dealing with SR, so FINRA, the SEC, like all these regulatory organizations that you need to get approval under to do you actually conduct brokerage, securities brokerage? So it's really, you know, even before I can even get to the cool stuff, which is we have a lot of really great ideas because there's a lot that's in play when you start to allow people to trade on a secondary market. You know, there are a lot of products, there's ETFs, there's mutual funds, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the asset class itself. For you to get there, it's like we got to build a functional foundation that everything can work on. So that's really what I've been spending the last about year doing, is that. And it's, you know, it's fun, but it's hard work, and it's startup. We're startup. So it's startup life. If any of you have ever worked in a startup, you might know. If not, it's not for the faint of heart. It's